Pick of the day, sponsored by Burger King. Jared Goff is days away from his first Super Bowl appearance, and it's easy to say he has thrived in the last 2 seasons with Sean McVay as his head coach. In that time, Goff has made the Pro Bowl both years with 60 touchdown passes and just 19 interceptions. So, Shannon, is Goff's success more about him, his development, or Sean McVay's system?
I don't think it's fair, Skip, to say just he's a product of the system. Clearly, the kid has talent. You know, and playing in Jeff Fisher's system. Jeff Fisher is a defensive-based coach, Skip. Sean McVay is an offensive-based football coach.
Okay.
And he has a guy and a system that Sean McVay believes in, and the system is very conducive to what he does well. Sean McVay wants to push the ball down the field. Well, Jared Goff has a big arm, and he can push the ball down the field. But let me tell you who else is a system quarterback. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. Everybody, every quarterback has a system that's conducive to what they do really well. Tell you another guy that was a system guy, Shannon Sharp. It just so happens I went to the one team, Skip, the Denver Broncos drafted me. 3 teams had an H-back. Washington, San Diego, and the Denver Broncos. Now, what if Cincinnati? What if Seattle? What if another team drafts Shannon Sharp that doesn't have that position and doesn't take the time and says, okay, well, we can see what this guy can do. Lo and behold, Dan Reeves had the H-back system, gave me a little rep. Wade Phillips gets the job in 93, brings in Jim Fossil. Jim Fossil calls me into his office, looking at after he said, son, I broke down tape. I'm going to build my offense around you. Who builds the offense around a tight end, Skip, in the 90s? I was a systems guy. But Jared Goff is a damn good football player. There's a reason why he rated so high, and he was the #1 pick in the draft. Now he has a system. He has a coach that has a system that says, okay, Jared, this is what you do well. If you notice, there's not a whole lot of quick throws. A lot of stuff is off play action. Rolls over. He's pushing the ball down the field to Brandon Cooks. He's throwing the ball down the field to Robert Woods. And that's what you need to have, Skip. I think Sean McVay deserves a hell of a lot of credit because he pulled what Jared Goff is good at. Because a lot of times, Skip, this is my system. This is what I'm. And before I go, a lot of coaches, offensive mind coaches, they have a quarterback in place, a young quarterback. And what do you hear them say, Skip? Oh, I can maximize his ability. Oh, I'm going to get so much out of that guy, and they'll do nothing. I'm sure a 31-year-old Sean McVay walked in there, sat down with Les Snead and Kevin Dimoff, and said, you know what? You have a talent here. This kid is extremely talented.
Sure.
He just needs the right makeup around him, and we can go places.
Yep.
Let's see. He said, okay. Lo and behold, what did they do? Well, they already had Todd Gurley in place, and then they started putting pieces around him, Skip. Okay, we're going to trade for Brandon Cooks. Okay, we're going to go out and sign Andrew Whitworth. Okay, we're going to get this guy. And lo and behold, you have a top 5 offense. And Skip, he pushes the ball down the field. He throws 20 yards down the field. He's 5th in completion percentage. I'm not going to tell you where your guy at, but you know who your guy is.
Who is my guy?
You know your guy.
I don't know.
He was in the same draft.
Oh, he should have gone first in that draft.
Yes. That guy?
Skip.
My guy should have gone #1 overall because my guy has outplayed Jared Goff every time they have met, including the first preseason game.
I don't know.
How many playoff wins your guy got?
What about the wins, though? The win column.
How many? My guy got 60 touchdowns. Your guy got 60 touchdowns?
Who had better QBRs in the 2 games that they met? A playoff game and last year's regular season game.
And Skip, hold on. You told me.
Is that the question?
No. You told me. What you tell me, Skip? You told me just an hour earlier. Winning is the only thing that matters. That's what you just told me, Skip.
Dak can't play defense.
Oh my God.
He should.
But I don't want you people, and we do far too much of that. Oh, it's the system. There have been a lot of guys that's been in systems that couldn't play, and the system didn't matter. I believe Jared Goff is in a great system, has a great head coach that believes in him, but this kid is immensely talented, Skip.
By the way, Tom Brady is the system. do you know how many times he checks out of plays? That's Tom Brady. That's not the system.
How did Jimmy Garoppolo look in that system?
I'm sorry.
How did Matt Castle look in that system? How did Jacoby Brissett look in that system? You keep telling me, but I keep seeing guys do the same thing.
Blips, not trends.
Oh, no. How we know?
Blips.
How we know?
Blips. Well, Coach Belichick thought it was going to be a trend. He wanted Jimmy G. Yeah. And where would Coach Belichick be right now if he had gotten his way? He'd be home.
In the Super Bowl.
Watching.
In the Super Bowl right now.
Okay.
Probably had 2 more wins.
back to Jared Goff. So for the record, before that draft, I liked him. I endorsed him as the first overall pick, but I never loved him. He didn't knock me over, and I didn't know enough about your man Carson Wentz. I saw the championship game they played in, but I couldn't really draw a bead on him.
Right.
And I couldn't take a stand because measurables, Carson Wentz had all the measurables, but I just wasn't quite sure about him. I saw him in the All-Star games, whatever. But this guy, he can play. He's got athletic ability, and he's got a big arm.
Yes.
And his father was a Major League Baseball player, and I always like bloodlines because it just helps.
Yep.
Your brother helped you some. He showed you the way. He gave you confidence that if he can do it, I can do it. I like that.
My dad had good bloodlines.
Okay.
He was a Sky Cap at O'Hara.
Was he?
Did that help me?
Well,
I guess I could catch football. He caught bags.
no, but it helped that you had a big brother who was really good.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
True.
So, and it always helps. You can always see anybody who grew up like a coach's son or whatever,
Yes.
that always gives you a head start. So in this case, he had a little bit of a head start, and he got trapped under Jeff Fisher, and his offensive coordinator was somebody named Rob Boris, who's now the Bills tight end coach. I don't know Rob Boris. Forgive me. I don't mean to offend him, but no, he's not. He wishes, right? he wishes. But again, this kid winds up with that. A defensive-based football team and a head coach who does not like young quarterbacks, who destroyed Vince Young's career, in my humble estimation. And Jared Goff went 0-7 that year as the starter of Jeff Fisher's Rams. He threw 5 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, and then you know the rest of the story. Sean McVay has been a godsend for this kid because I believe this kid is pretty good, but I don't believe he's as good as Sean McVay has made him.
Okay.
Because I'm not saying he's a product of the system. He's a product of Sean McVay because, to me, Sean McVay gave him his confidence,
You're right.
gave him his charisma, gave him his swagger. I read an interesting note the other night at that opening night, the big interview session that was on NFL Network. Jared Goff obviously had a big audience around him, and I read that there are a number of times during, it goes for about an hour, as you well know,
Right.
and that there were a number of awkward pauses during the Jared Goff interview because people just ran out of things to ask because he was so short-spoken in his answers.
Right.
And he's not very interesting. He's a nice kid, but he
Right.
doesn't have a lot to say.
Right.
So it would just fall flat, and people would be looking around like, you got a question?
next?
I don't have a question,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's just embarrassing because the Brady interview or whatever, it just flows and
Right.
goes, and people are still yelling questions when they say, time's up, right?
But you got 19 years of questions with Brady.
Okay,
Yeah.
you do, but I got it. But with this kid, he's a good kid, and yet, is he a natural-born leader? Is he the dynamic personality who's taken over? Nope, he's not that guy, but that coach is.
Yeah.
The coach has got swagger.
Yeah.
The coach wore jeans the other night to opening night.
Yes.
Bill Belichick came in a coat and tie, which was shocking to me because it's been a long time
And he
since
looked
I
like
saw
he
him.
pulled it out of his backpack, too.
I agree. No, I agree. I'm with you. But here's Sean McVay, and everybody's got on the bottoms, the sweat bottoms
Yep.
to go with the sweat top. He's got on jeans.
Yeah.
And he's got the gelled hair, and he's got the hot girlfriend who's all over Instagram, and he's cool. He's got high cool factor, and it's translated to his quarterback. So my favorite play of Peyton Manning's on that detail where he breaks down the 2 championship games. He broke down Jared Goff's championship game at New Orleans, and the play he fixated on was the one where Jared Goff's fiddling with his knee pads a little bit, and he's waiting, and then he has to start telling everybody what to do because they couldn't hear,
Right.
and they keep passing it up and down the line. And Peyton Manning is making the point. Sean McVay is telling him right up to the clock, let's do that. Let's switch to this. Like he's talking him all the way up to the end of the clock.
Right.
Let's do this, and you're going to do this. And he dropped back and threw an out pass for a big first down to Brandon Cooks.
Right.
Well, he's just in his ear all the way. Seriously, how long do you think Josh McDaniels is in Tom Brady's ear? Not very long.
Skip, if you remember that when Tom Brady completed the pass, he's running up the sideline and he's telling Josh McDaniels, I got it.
Yeah.
Don't send anybody. Don't change the personnel.
Yep.
Let's keep what we got right here.
Well, that's Tom Brady. I know.
And the
Okay.
thing is, what people don't understand, it's hard to do your job when someone is constantly talking to your ear. And that's what I was trying to...
Unless you need somebody to
Right.
talk, because Jared Goff's been quoted as saying he calls the play with such authority and confidence, like he
this
loves
will
to
work.
hear it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it sounds good in
Yeah.
his ear.
You buy it.
Remember the big timeout before the big 3rd and 7 play that
Right.
basically ended the Cowboy playoff game
Right.
at the Rams?
Yes.
And he called that rollout,
Right.
that bootleg, you know, and he just told him, if Tyler Higbee's open, you're going to give it to him. But if you see it and you feel it, you run with it because
Right.
you might be able to get this with your legs.
Right.
So he's talking him through it. And you know how it feels good in your ear when you got somebody you completely believe in?
Man, when your coaches believe in you. I remember Dan Reeves when he called me in his office, Skip. All our tight ends, Clarence K, Orson Mobley, Chris Verhulst, who decided it was Plan B with no free agents, it was Plan B back then, had gotten hurt. And he called me in his office and he told me, you know, would I mind switching to tight end? I was like, am I gonna get an opportunity to play? He's like, sure, but you're gonna have to learn the plays. He say, son, you are too big, too fast, too strong, not to make a living in this league.
Yeah.
Dan Reeves played in the NFL. He coached under Coach Tom Landry. He had gone to 3 Super Bowls before Shannon Sharp even set foot in the NFL.
One was the championship game in the Ice Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. And so for him to have him say that, clearly I was like, this man knows something.
He does.
He thinks that much of me.
Yep.
Sean McVay, the way he calls the plays and the authority in which he calls them, you know he's confident. Okay, he's telling you, now, we're going to call this play. But if it's not there, I got confidence in you that you're going to go get us this first down and you're going to win us this game.
So in that way, he's an extension of Sean McVay. Obviously, he has ability, big ability.
Yes.
But it put him on the map. It made him to have this guy calling his plays for him.
The same thing that Sean McVay is doing for Jerry Goff. Bill Belichick did for Tom Brady. You know why, Skip? Because when Drew Bledsoe got healthy, he didn't go back to him.
No.
He says, I believe in you. I believe in the 6th-round kid in his 2nd year.
Yeah, I'll buy that. But he's not calling plays.
No. He don't call the plays.
Got a few more years experience, too. But just to reflect on the fact that we were calling him a bust, Goff, and he has now made it to a Super Bowl. I mean, that's a pretty incredible turnaround for the kid.
Was he in that? Hold on. Was Dak in that draft?
Yeah, it was. Different discussion, different day.
Dak is Brady because he's a 4th-round pick who's a Pro Bowl player.
The potential.
2 Pro Bowls.
You're right.
How can you?
The only difference
how can you explain that?
Nobody from Brady's draft went to the Super Bowl.
Oh, really?
No quarterback went to the Super Bowl.
It's time for some GOAT talk. Who is the real GOAT? Tom Brady or LeBron James? We'll discuss that with Greg Jennings next.